Blue Iguana, tonight after Nightline.
We out here, busting our butt.
The fans.
I hate it because, they already have enough money. Why do they need more money?
A day in the life of Major League Baseball. Strike.
This is ABC News Nightline. Reporting from Camden Yards in Baltimore, Ted Koppel.
Baltimore. Pre-dawn today. When the Orioles are about to begin a homestand, Chief Engineer Howard Rothaus is here by 5:30. This is Oriole Park at Camden Yards, one of the most modern ballparks in America. It is nostalgic by design.
That park is beautiful in the morning. It's the best time. No one's here. It's quiet. You get to play around all you want.
Rothaus checks out the electronic scoreboard. He pops in a CD to make sure that the stadium sound system is functioning properly.
So what's the neighborhood think of the Rolling Stones at 6 in the morning?
Haven't got too many complaints.
There is, as we are all coming to understand, a lot more to Major League Baseball than the game. And the ball players are not the only people who came to work this morning looking at what may be their last day on the payroll for a while.
It's going to be weird not having the money in our pockets. So I'm going to have to go out and find something else to do if we do go out.
I'm going to miss the people that I work with, because there's a lot of good people work here. There's 20-some, 2,000 people here, and I know a lot of them. I've been here going on 3 years.
The fact of the matter is that early this morning, no one is altogether sure what will happen by the end of the day, nor for that matter, why.
I really don't understand why there's a strike, because to me they make more money than I do. So what's the purpose of a strike?
If any of our players had wanted to talk to the media on
At 10 o'clock, the Orioles Public Relations Director, Charles Steinberg, has called a production meeting with his staff. One of his concerns, what music to play after tonight's game when the strike presumably begins and the fans may be feeling resentful.
Songs that are out there for consideration are the Shirelles, Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow? We have a pair of Please Don't Go songs, KC and Sonny and Cher.
By mid-morning, there is a sense of inevitability about the strike. Until now, people have been talking about what they will do if the strike takes place. Now, they're beginning to discuss what they will do when it happens. The process involves a gradual peeling away of illusions. The image of baseball as a game is gradually giving way to the less appealing reality of baseball as a business, confronting a serious labor management problem. As of mid-morning, no further negotiations have been scheduled. The empty ballpark remains for the moment a place of promise. There is still at least one more game to be played here. But along with the threat of rain, there is the growing uncertainty of when the next game will be scheduled. In Hillsborough, North Carolina, the uncertainty, the unpleasantness, and today's game against the Boston Red Sox are still a 6-hour bus ride away. The 20 members of the local Babe Ruth League and many of their fathers are bound for Baltimore to watch Peter Angelos' baseball team play what may be an historic game. Pete, late morning, game day, normally this is a happy time of day for you.
Ordinarily, yes, Ted. Unfortunately, today, it's the game, of course, is exciting, but the prospects of the season ending so prematurely is a very depressing thought.
Why does it come to this point?
Well, I think the relationships between players and management for many years have not been ideal. And this time, in this labor management discussion and negotiation, because of the nature of the issues at hand, the relationship is even more acrimonious, and that doesn't augur well for a resolution of the dispute.
On this point, at least, there is complete agreement between management and the players. Mike Messina, who pitched his 16th win of the year last Sunday, is the players' representative for the Orioles. We talked at his rented townhouse outside Baltimore.
I think the whole situation has gotten to this point because nobody communicates very well. I don't think the owners communicate well with us. I don't think we communicate back to them.
You were telling me before we started the interview that normally being a player rep doesn't involve a whole hell of a lot.
No.
If you'd known what it was going to involve this year, would you just assume that cup would have passed to someone else?
No, I enjoyed the job. I kind of took it because I wanted to see what was on the other side of baseball. Most people don't see the business side except when there's a strike situation. They don't understand the intricacies of pension and of health and benefits and licensing and all this other stuff that, you know, they just go out and buy the baseball cards and go to the ballpark and watch the guys play.
Now that you've seen it?
It's a business. This is a business, pure and simple. There's no doubt about it. It's America's pastime, but it's kind of close to America's business pastime now, and there's nothing any of us can do about it.
You sound like a man who's lost a little bit of his innocence.
No, I'm 25 years old. I just
lost it a long time ago.
I may have. I just love to play, and all 800 guys in the big leagues love to play. And if we could keep it a game, you know, we'd keep it a game, but it's too big for that.
When we come back, packing it in.
This is ABC News Nightline, brought to you by Cadillac.
Announcing a great way to get away from it all, including high monthly payments in the new Eldorado. Because for a limited time, the Eldorado, with its 270 horsepower Northstar system, is only $399 a month for 24 months with $2,500 down. The Cadillac Eldorado. See your Cadillac dealer now before this special offer dashes by.
I'm playing Pete's Comedy Pagoda tonight. I'm staying here at the Super 8 Motel. My favorite place. I love this room, don't you? Super 8 rooms are always affordable and roomy and steamy. 4 more hours to showtime. Okay, new joke. That's funny. No, it's not.
Super 8. 1-800-800-8000. Life's great at Super 8. Super 8 proudly offers AT&T long-distance service for your calling card and operator-assisted calls.
Heart pumps, ventilators, pills, made to save lives. What's going on when a government agency keeps them from people who could die without them? 2020, Friday.
First anniversary, paper. Second, China. Third, crystal. This year, we're celebrating our 5th anniversary. But you don't have to give us anything. The 0 down 36-month lease for the Lexus LS. It's the perfect gift, available only at your participating New Jersey, Delaware, and Pennsylvania area Lexus dealer.
If you think Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries only carries furniture that rocks or reclines, we invite you to browse through our American Home collection. Proof that beautiful furniture can move you without moving an inch. To show you everything that's on sale at Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries and one TV commercial, we'd need a lot more TVs. This is a limited time offer at all Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries by Goods, as well as all Goods furniture locations.
There is a reason that the souvenir stands open early at Major League ballparks. The kids from the Hillsborough, North Carolina Babe Ruth League arrived at Camden Yards with about 3.5 hours to kill before game time and 5 extra tickets, which they unloaded without too much trouble. Then they started shopping in earnest. This sort of thing, obviously, will also come to an end with the strike. Baseball is a big part of the local economy.
The restaurants that are around here, the bars, the hotels, this is 70% of their nut. 70% of their annual business comes as a result of Oriole baseball.
Giuseppe Costagliola has a restaurant just across the street from Camden Yards.
It's going to be hot. It's going to be tough. It's going to be ugly. People, they're going to lose jobs. Our income is going to low very much.
The nearby Marriott is already feeling the effect of a strike that hasn't even begun.
Just this weekend alone, when you look at what our occupancy could have been and what it will be, there's a dramatic effect. We've seen an awful lot of cancellations from Boston fans who are going to come into Baltimore and go to the games this weekend.
Some of the fans have been waiting since noon for standing room only tickets. These are clearly people who love the game, but it's equally clear that they don't love what's happening to it.
I think that the fans should strike instead of the players. We pay good money to come watch the game, and they're making $100 million a game or whatever.
What's the strike about? The strike's about money. That's what everything is about, money.
No, the players and the owners. So I think the players are pretty greedy, and and I think the owners are too. I think both sides are wrong.
Under the stadium, in the clubhouse, the players are suiting up for the game and packing up for the strike.
I'm going to clean stuff out tonight. I'm going to be back here tomorrow, but I'm going to make sure I get most of my stuff out here tonight.
Some of the guys here are emptying out their lockers. Some are kind of hanging in waiting. You look like one of the waiters.
Well, you didn't look at this side of the locker.
Ah, that's, those are your boxes?
These are my boxes, yeah. But most of the baseball stuff, the stuff that I need to play is going to stay. I'm just going to pack a few things, take home to Texas.
The guys who get hurt the most on a day-by-day basis, obviously, are the men who make the most money. Fellas like you.
True. But I think what people don't understand is that the reason that we're in this position is because guys like myself in the past stood together by what they believed in, and that's why we're in this position right now, making the kind of money that we're making, and we have to stay together.
It's your last chance. Get a pretzel in a baseball game. It's going to be a long year, folks. It's a long year without baseball and a terrible year without pretzels. What are you going to do, sit home and watch reruns eating hard pretzels?
Strike shirts, $10.
Look at these people. All these people, we know each other by names. Baseball is just part of America. It's the greatest.
Jerry Collier is the most successful beer vendor at Camden Yards. He is so aggressive, they call him the Terminator.
I'm a banker, investment banker. Do this because I love baseball. Love the fans. Just says it all, you know.
Even Jerry, the personification of positive thinking, is a little pessimistic this evening.
I mean, you think the guy selling beer doesn't make that much money, but if you work hard, you really can. So it's going to hurt. And even though I have another job, I just bought a house. It's going to hurt.
Upstairs, in the owner's office, Peter Angelos is glum.
What's happening? Have you had any interesting phone calls?
No, I haven't heard a word, really, from any of the other owners.
But as I look at my watch right now, 4:20 in the afternoon, no more hope than there was when you and I met this morning?
No, I'm afraid not. I think the strike at this moment appears to be absolutely inevitable.
Strike or no strike, there is one more game scheduled for this evening, and so, as on any other game day, the players take batting practice. But when you see the horde of reporters around Players Rep Mike Messina, it's abundantly clear that the game tonight is a secondary story.
Yeah.
Umpire Jim McKean, 22 years with the American League, prepares for tonight's game by defacing the balls. That's what they call it, defacing them. The game has changed, says McKean.
Most of the players carry attaché cases. It's now an attaché case league. They're all big business people, which is more power to them. They've deserved it and they've got it. But the game has definitely changed that way.
The 1994 Baltimore Orioles about to have their team photograph taken. Actually, it was not supposed to be taken today. It was supposed to be taken tomorrow. But then, well, let Johnny Oates tell you about it.
And we even got nervous last week when there was a possibility of walking out even a week early, realizing there was a possibility this could be the first Oriole team ever in history not to have a team photo.
He made the iron, he made power.
Finally, it was 7:30, game time. But it's been that kind of a day. It was raining, and the start of what may be the end was delayed.
Isn't it strange that people spend 5 days a week trapped inside an office, only to spend their weekends trapped inside a fence? Presenting the 1994 24-valve 175 horsepower rodeo. It can take you where you won't feel boxed in. Isuzu, practically amazing.
At your local True Value, finding someone to help you isn't a problem. Something that just can't be said of those enormous hardware warehouses.
Find them, boys!
This month at True Value, a twin pack of Red Devil Lifetime caulk is just $1.99, and our True Test True Seal waterproofing is just $4.98 a gallon. True Value. Help is just around the corner.
An important study of breast cancer is under fire. Next time, the doctor in charge responds.
Plus, back to Woodstock with Crosby, Stills, and Nash on the next Good Morning America.
Here on ABC.
How much can I save if I buy a Toyota Camry instead of a Pontiac Bonneville?
Well, let's see. You do want a V6 automatic and anti-lock brakes, don't you?
Yeah.
Then the smaller Camry actually costs $1,500 more than the Bonneville.
More?
And if you hurry, Pontiac will give you $1,250 cash for your down payment.
Wait, when I buy a Bonneville, I get more car for $80, $90 less a month?
Yeah, maybe that's why Pontiac has outsold all the imports. Get up to $1,250 cash back during the 94 Pontiac closeout, going on right now.
Saturday is Wanamaker's one-day sale with 20 to 50% savings everywhere you turn. Saturday from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Shop early, shop late, and save on everything you want, everything you need. But you only have one day for big savings of 20 to 50%. So start early and stay late for Wanamaker's one-day sale. And remember, when this day's over, so are the savings.
The new G20 is Infinity's least expensive luxury car. To them, however, it's just another Infinity. That's why whenever you schedule service for your G20, you'll get a free loaner car. And when you come back, you'll find it washed and vacuumed. Just like the owners of their most luxurious Q45. If it deserves to be called an Infinity, it deserves to be treated like one.
The center fielder, number 2, Otis Nixon.
They started the game, finally, about 40 minutes late. The rain trailed off just long enough to permit play to get underway. About 2.5 innings worth. And then it really started pouring. Consider it Mother Nature's commentary on a game that was being grudgingly played to begin with. There is something about human nature that causes us to take a certain amount of comfort in shared misfortune. The solitary soaking is miserable. The communal experience is strangely reassuring.
Strike doesn't start till midnight. Great fans, they make play again.
We drove 400 miles to see this game, and we're not leaving until it's over.
Everybody feels like they're being robbed here by the players and by the owners.
But at least if it has to end, the New York Yankees will not be in the postseason.
The kids from Hillsborough, the ones from the Babe Ruth League, were disappointed but philosophical.
First time I've been up here, it's sort of been a downer coming up here.
It doesn't sour you on baseball, does it?
No, I still love the game, but and I think a lot of the players still love the game too. A lot of the greed and the promotions and publicity and all that, it's just sort of spoiled them.
What you may be seeing here could be the end of the 1994 baseball season.
Oh, I hope not. I love baseball and I love to watch it. And I love the World Series, so I hope this isn't it.
But it took one of the fathers, Dan Ashley, the man who planned this trip to Baltimore about 6 months ago, to put the baseball strike into some kind of perspective.
I think once they got a lot to iron out right now, it's going to be their problem.
we're going back to Hillsborough and play baseball next week, whether they play or not. So it's still a kid's game, my opinion of it. When you get away from playing for fun, it kind of forward. These kids, like I said, we try to teach the kids to play for fun, play the good part of the game, teach them good habits.
By 10:45, it is still pouring. Jim McKeon, crew chief of the umpires, has not yet decided whether to call the game.
It's raining cats and dogs out there. There hasn't been anything like this since Noah was building his ark, and you guys are still sitting here trying to decide whether or not to call the game. I mean, why is it such a tough call?
You know, Ted, in this situation, this might be our last game this year, and Baltimore, being the franchise that it is drawing 50,000 every night, and as of now, we do not have the game in. And we try our darndest to get all the...
You don't have the game in.
In other words, we do not have the crowd recorded. In other words, the tickets are not paid for till we play 5 complete innings. So he doesn't have the ballpark counted for until we get 5 complete innings. We've only played 3 innings.
You mean
he will
Baltimore doesn't get the revenue? They would have to issue...
They would have to refund or whatever they'd have to do to give the money back until we play 5 complete innings. So really, this is one of the big decisions that umpires have to make off the field. There's a lot of money involved here.
Once again, perhaps inevitably, the conversation has come back to money. A few thousand people were left in the stadium. The forecast was for more rain, perhaps 2 hours more, but with fewer than 3 innings played, this game would not count, and that in turn would cost the Baltimore Orioles somewhere between $500,000 and $1 million. Common sense might dictate calling the game, even this last game before the strike, but the business of baseball delayed that decision until 11:20. At which time the game was finally postponed. Joining me now for a final comment or two, the owner of the Baltimore Orioles, Peter Angelos. It's been a long day, and now you've lost, what, $800,000 on top of it,
well, right? Let's say gross revenues, not profit.
It is a tough decision, but, Lord, it is tough to look upon this now, after this day that we've spent with you, as a fun game anymore. How do you find any fun in this game anymore?
Well, there's a great deal of fun in it, providing a recreational pursuit such as baseball for the people of the metropolitan area, and a wonderful group of kids all the way from Hillsborough, North Carolina, is a fun opportunity. So we get a big charge out of it. We don't really make any money with it, despite reports to the contrary, or very little, but it's still a great opportunity.
I've been asking you the same questions since we met early this morning, then again this afternoon. May as well ask you now. Any reason to believe, I mean, now the strike is officially underway. It's just about midnight. Any reason to believe that this is going to be a short strike?
Well, a couple of days ago I would have answered negatively, but there have been some indications today and some conversations I've had with some of the owners who must remain unnamed, that there seems to be some movement on both sides to try to make this strike a short one, and hopefully that will work out.
Why did it have to wait until the last minute?
Well, that is the nature of all labor management disputes. I've had some experience in that area, and I think everyone seems to wait until the last moment, and here it's beyond that last moment. The strike is on, and I hope that everyone on both sides reconsiders what's happened and moves to eliminate this work stop.
How many owners altogether?
28.
And you've got 3, 4, counting you, who think that maybe something can be done. That doesn't sound totally optimistic.
They're the only ones I've heard from, but I expect tomorrow and the days ahead that we'll be hearing from more of them.
Where is there room for compromise, Peter?
Well, I think the two sides ought to put aside the acrimony and the constant snarling at each other and sit at the table using their great talents and sit down and try to work this out. I think it can be worked out, and obviously it should be.
But where is there room for compromise?
Well, our position is that baseball is in a financial crisis, that in '94 we'll lose $100 million cumulatively. The Orioles are not losing money. And in '95, the losses will exceed $150 million. If we can prove that to the satisfaction of the other side, that is the players group, then I think they should agree to sit down and consider various options for dealing with that crisis.
Peter, we're down to our last few seconds. I think you're going to have more trouble convincing your fellow owners than you are convincing the players of that. The players have been saying all along they want to see the
the accounting fees.
Well, they've
right?
said that, but not loudly enough. Would like to get them to speak up a little bit louder and also get the owners to be more forthcoming with the financial information, because therein lies the first solution, and then we can begin constructive and sensible talks.
As we say goodnight, are you depressed?
Just slightly, but I'm also optimistic.
Peter Angelos, thanks very much for your hospitality, and thanks for spending so much time with us.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. I'll be back in a moment.
If you were to take every article, every review, every honor, every award, everything positive people have had to say about the Toyota Camry and put it on a wall, you'd need a very big wall. And now there's the new 1994 Toyota Camry with dual airbags, a new V6, and built in America. Imagine the wall we're going to need for that.
Hey, it's a huge Ace Dollar Day sale. There are values everywhere you look.
Brushes and bulbs.
Cords and caulk.
Bags and batteries.
And more for just $1 each.
So look into the Ace Dollar Day sale today. You'll see so many ways to save.
Still using a full commission broker? You could be missing out on a lot. Like a broker who's available anytime you want. Or state-of-the-art investment software that's easy to use. To get both, trade up to Schwab. At Charles Schwab, you can manage your investments around the clock. And Street Smart software lets you place trades, get quotes, even research stocks. And at Schwab, you'll enjoy low commissions, too.
For a better way to trade up to Schwab.
Frank said he'd really like to take a relaxing vacation this year. I've got just the place.
If they could see you now out on a fun ship cruise, you're eating fancy food and doing what you choose. I'd like your friends back home to get a good look.
I ask you, does Frank look relaxed or what? Take a 3, 4, or 7-day vacation on Carnival, the most popular cruise line in the world. Honey, I just booked another week.
Great.
Hey, it's a huge Ace Dollar Day sale. There are values everywhere you look.
Brushes and bulbs.
Cords and caulk.
Bags and batteries.
And more for just $1 each.
So look into the Ace Dollar Day sale today. You'll see so many ways to save.
What you're hearing is not the cost of the features on the Sentra Limited Edition. It's what you'll be saving. You see, the Sentra Limited Edition costs a substantial $2,000 less than a comparably equipped Toyota Corolla LE. Bet you never thought this would sound so beautiful. Now you can lease a Sentra Limited Edition with no down payment for just $199 a month for 36 months.
Hello, I'm Jim Gardner. It is now a couple of minutes after 12 midnight in the East, and so the baseball strike has officially begun. Members of the Philadelphia Phillies are now presumably dispersing as their game ended about 35 minutes ago, an extra inning affair with the New York Mets. We just heard Peter Angelos, the owner of the Baltimore Orioles, say that just now there is perhaps some movement on the part of both the players and the owners, and he suggested, if by demeanor, if not by words, that there is some hope that this might not be a protracted strike that could wipe out the entire baseball season of 1994. But the strike is now on.
Let's say goodbye to baseball with a 15-inning affair at Veterans Day tonight. Bottom of the 5th inning, highlight start, of course, Billy Hatcher had singled, gets the third. John Kruk, who might not be here next year, intentionally walked, and Kruk leaves with a nice ovation. Danny Jackson replaced him. He might not be here next year. Lenny Dykstra was intentionally walked, bases loaded for Kim Batiste. Not the hero tonight. But then Ricky Jordan, about 11:27 tonight, ends the ball game that could end the 1994 season. Down the line he goes. 2-1 Phillies. Here's our angle of the last breath of baseball, possibly for 1994. Scott Palmer has just emerged from the locker room, and he also says hello to Larry, and what about goodbye to baseball?
Could be, Gary. Larry Anderson joins us. Larry, you've been very vocal on this subject for a couple of weeks now. You've heard some of the owners starting to crack. Does that give the players encouragement?
You know, I don't know if it's starting to crack or if it's more of owners wanting to get an agreement done and wanting to get the season finished, keep it on track. I think everybody feels that way. I think the fact that they came out and said it maybe is encouraging, but I don't think. I think they have to be together, you know, as a group and make a decision, or at least 75% of them do. And you know, not unlike us, we have to all be in agreement for something to happen. But you know, just to hear that maybe they would not impose a salary cap if we didn't strike. I mean, to me, it's at least something in the right direction, because we haven't gone in any direction yet, and that's encouraging.
Larry Anderson may not be overly optimistic, but Bullwinkle Anderson does have an optimistic bone in his body.
That's the Moosehead hat. That's I had this on. I got this in Scranton for my birthday.
You had this on in the clubhouse moments ago.
Yeah, I did. It was something that brought me luck in Scranton, brought the team luck, and so I had it on, thinking that you know, 15 minutes to midnight, maybe something would happen. But I'll keep it on for a couple, you know, 2 or 3 weeks, and hopefully we can get something resolved here soon.
This is Bullwinkle Anderson, maybe looking for Rocky Colavito. I don't know, Gary. We'll let Andy go, because I also talked with Curt Schilling just moments ago and asked him if he was optimistic. He has sat in on the talks. What does Curt Schilling think?
I have no idea. After being in New York the other day, I don't see where anything's going to happen real soon. Unfortunately, I mean, obviously, you know, we're striking tomorrow, and they're not meeting for another 9-10 days. So they're not real hopeful. I mean, they're not really, I guess, ready to change anything they're talking about, so.
I also talked with Danny Jackson in the clubhouse. Danny said that he is optimistic because he has been through these labor negotiations before, and he has seen everyone predict gloom and then a settlement come a day or two afterwards. So he's optimistic. He also said they were playing well into the night because they were giving the negotiators a few extra minutes to try to come up with a settlement before this strike, which in Philadelphia anyway is now on. I'm Scott Palmer, Channel 6 Action News at Veterans Stadium.
Yeah, Scott, before you go, did Scott leave? How many guys are actually leaving the area? And what about Bill Giles? He was supposed to be on with us earlier. Why did he go to the written statement, and when will he officially talk? Maybe tomorrow morning, we've been hearing?
Let me answer the Bill Giles question first, Gary. Bill Giles had committed to me yesterday that he would join us right here on Action News tonight. Bill Giles almost never breaks a commitment like that. But he said tonight that he will not be doing any interviews. Instead, he released a statement, which you read earlier on Action News, very unlike the man. I'm wondering, and some other people here at the Vet are wondering, Gary, if maybe Major League Baseball has put a gag order on the owners. I asked David Montgomery, who is an executive with the Phillies, if that was true. He denied it, but that thought is there. Now, as far as which players are staying and which players are going, the majority of players, Gary, are leaving Philadelphia. Many of them tonight. More tomorrow morning. They're getting on the first plane out of Dodge, so to speak. There may be a handful, mostly rookies and younger players, who have commitments on apartments who will stay in the area a while longer. But if this strike lasts more than a week or two, we won't see any Phillies in the area except for Curt Schilling and Lenny Dykstra, who live here.
All right, Scott Palmer live at the Vet. Bill Giles will be live or talking to us tomorrow morning at a press conference. If the strike settled quickly, it might be tough to get all the team members together. They're supposed to play in St. Louis this weekend, but no.
All right.
Okay.
And, of course, we will have an update and more interviews with members of the Phillies on Action News at 6 a.m. with Monica Malpass and Rick Williams. But that is the situation right now. It is 9 minutes after midnight, and so the strike is officially 9 minutes old in Philadelphia and in the eastern part of the United States. And now we're just hearing that Phillies owner and President Bill Giles has just canceled that news conference originally scheduled for tomorrow morning. And so clearly the owner of the Philadelphia Phillies is staying mum on this subject for a while. And there is an indication that Mr. Ravitch in New York has asked all the owners to keep quiet about this. And perhaps that is a result of the fact that 2 or 3 of the owners, including Angelos in Baltimore and Steinbrenner in New York, have begun to talk about possible alternatives to a strike and possible alternatives to the already stated owner's policy and strategy. And so we shall see what we shall see. But anyway, we'll have updates and the latest on Action News at 6 o'clock in the morning. And so for Gary Papa, Scott Palmer at Veterans Stadium, and the entire Action News team, I'm Jim Gardner. Thank you for joining us, and good night.